So what is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a shakedown drive on the BRZ. We're just going to be like taking it down the street, driving it around a little bit, just to see how it feels. I did drive the car yesterday to go to the gas station, just fill it up with gas, so that way when we leave for the tune tomorrow, we're already full on gas, we can drive straight there. I did notice a couple things when I was doing it is if you get on the throttle too hard, the car just shuts off. Like it's like it's losing too much air through the blow-off valve just when it starts to crack open a little bit, or maybe it's putting too much fuel into the system since it is running insanely rich, where the car just dies. For the most part, it is safe to drive down to the shop. AFRs are staying pretty normal except for when they like super spike into the rich zone, but they never really go lean. So it'll be safe to drive like 20 minutes to go to the tuning shop tomorrow. But today I just want to do like a little shakedown drive around the block, make sure everything else is just fine on it. Make sure no vacuum lines are popping off, make sure we're not leaking fuel or anything like that, because we just did do a lot to this car. But look at that, we got the STI back in the garage also. Has anyone else missed this car like I have? Like, it's just been sitting over there in like the dirt and the rocks and everything like that. So brought it back in the garage yesterday since the BRZ is done being worked on for the most part. So pretty stoked to get going on this. We're gonna start the STI videos again next week, I believe. I got in some really like difficult parts to find also, which I'm super pumped for. Shout out to, I don't know his real name, not even gonna mention it, but bought some EG33 engine mount brackets. These were insanely difficult to find. These are discontinued parts. So luckily someone had a couple spare engines laying around, so I was able to snag these brackets for, I believe, like 40 bucks. Not too bad. I also bought the engine mounts, like the actual engine mount part, like the actual mount to go with these, so that way when we get the EG33 back, we should be able to just drop it right into this engine bay and everything just bolt right up. We are going to be doing some like engine bay cleanup in here also. We're going to be getting rid of everything that we're not going to be using anymore. Fuse box is going to get relocated to the trunk. Battery is going to get relocated to the trunk. We're not running AC, so we can lose all of the AC lines. Power steering pump we're going to have to disconnect just because I'm going to make my own AN lines for these, so that way we don't have to run like these weird OEM soft style lines. So next week we'll be starting back up with the STI stuff, so hope you guys are ready for that. We're also going to be stripping out the interior completely. We're going to be draining the fuel tank because I still have like half a tank of E85 in here. We need to pull out the old fuel pump basket, start getting all this radium stuff in there, so that way we can start getting the fuel system on the STI kind of done with. I might make my own custom fuel lines to go from the trunk, or the fuel pump, up to the engine bay. Not entirely sure yet, but we're dealing with this turd today. So super pumped to get this thing over to the dyno. Like you guys know, the BRZ is the daily driver, so I do want to make sure everything is hunky-dory with this car before we go and send it on the dyno. How much horsepower and torque do you guys think this is going to make? Whoever guesses the closest, I will send you some free merch. Let me know what your guesses are. I'm guessing 290 wheel horsepower, 265 wheel torque. That's thunder. It's thunder and lightning. We have a thunderstorm. Thunderstorm! Oh, I better close that. I haven't put in the new map sensor yet in the car, because if I just throw in the 4-bar map sensor that we have, the car's gonna freak out even more than it's already freaking out, and we don't want to do that. So let's just go drive this thing. And as you guys can see, like, summertime is like completely over. Here's back to like normal Washington weather, if you guys were curious. Like, it's just cloudy and rainy most of the year, but not gonna stop us. Whoop! Let's get a cold start on this bad boy. Let's go drive her around a little bit. So as I'm sure you guys just heard, the BRZ does not sound happy at all right now. Like, it's freaking out. It doesn't know what the hell's going on. But for the most part, it's running pretty healthy. AFR is staying pretty consistent at idle, except when the fans kick on, then it just kind of jumps around a little bit. Vacuum is staying pretty consistent around 20, and oil pressure is also staying good. At full warm-up, right now we're still a little bit cold. At full warm-up, oil pressure generally hangs out around 20 PSI. But let me get a GoPro strapped right up here on the steering column, so that way you guys can see what all this is doing while we're driving, and we'll go take it for a spin around the block real quick. Yo, we've got like an all-out thunderstorm happening right now. So I apologize for the weird angle on the GoPro, but it's literally duct taped to the steering column, and this is about the best I can get with it right now without having like a proper mount, so I need to buy more GoPro mounts. But let's go drive around the block. Struggles to start, you guys see that happens. So let's go putt around a little bit. I'm gonna tell you now, throttle response on this thing is, okay, there we go. Throttle response is pretty bad on the car. So just puttering around on the stock tune, AFRs aren't terrible. They're kind of all over the place, but I mean, that is expected. It's not tuned. And I'm fully aware that it's not tuned. I'm fully aware that driving the car when it's not tuned with a turbo strap to it is not a good idea. But I do want to make sure that everything is pretty solid for the dyno. So I just want to make sure nothing's popping off. We have no vacuum lines that are flying off under vacuum, or we have no fuel lines that are popping off. We're not leaking fuel, anything like that. Actually drive the car a little bit so that way we can actually check the oil to make sure everything's pretty solid. But AFR is just under normal driving range between like 13.5 up to around like 16. Like, it is not dialed in at all. Staying in vacuum and driving very carefully to the dyno tomorrow should be just fine. I don't have access to a truck or a trailer. It's something that I need to buy at some point. So when we go do things like this, we can just throw the car on a trailer and go drive it. But as you guys would imagine, we do have a check engine light. That's the only light that's on right now. I have no idea what the code is for. I'm guessing it's for evap and probably some other things. I can't even use my blinker, it's duct taped down. One thing I did notice yesterday when I was driving the car, awful throttle response right now. One thing I did notice when driving the car to the gas station just to fill it up is that if you give it a little too much gas, or if it just wants to, it will die. So I'm guessing the car's picking up like a nasty vacuum leak or something like that when the blow-off valve opens. That's my guess. I can't confirm or deny that yet. Once we drive it a little bit more, or once it's tuned, it'll be good for it. We have that new map sensor that we're going to be putting in the car also, so that should definitely help with it. I'm guessing it's going to be more map based than it is MAF based, because the MAF is after the blow-off valve, which is a little bit weird. Normally it's before the blow-off valve. But aside from that, oil pressure seems rather normal when just driving, cruising around like this. Oil pressure's hanging out at around 90 PSI. We're not fully warmed up quite yet, but it is a normal value for what we should be seeing. Man, this, oh, there's lightning! Jesus. Oh, they just died, see? All right, let's get it back to the house. So what I'm saying, like, it dies. Like, I'm guessing it's picking up a vacuum leak, or it's picking up something in the system that's causing it to die. It might just be because it's running a little bit too rich at times too, and all that excessive fuel that it's dumping into the system is just making the car die. But I'm glad I actually got that on camera. As you guys saw, like, there was no like aggressive driving, there was no like out of the line driving or anything like that. It was just normal cruising down that street to take a right to come back over here, and it died on us. But we just got back to the house. Let me pull the car in the garage, we'll pop the hood, we'll take a look at it, make sure everything else is solid. So I know I have to put a little bit of oil in here, know that much. I don't have to use this thing, but I want to. If you guys want one of these, they're super awesome. I'll link it below. It's a Subaru specific oil funnel, so that way you don't spill oil anywhere. Oil goes in. It's a decent amount of oil that came out of that oil cooler that we lost. And it's starting to rain again, so I should hurry this up. So before we got the STI tuned last time, I made a video of just what to make sure you're checking before you go get dyno tuned. So I'm just gonna run through that checklist real quick. I'll link it like right up here. I'll just time-lapse myself going through it. After that, we should be pretty much set on this. Like you guys saw, it doesn't want to really run very well right now, but that's totally expected. But let me run through here real quick, and I'll let you guys know if I find anything. If not, we'll proceed. Get her good to go. So it didn't take too long to run through to the checks, mainly because I know I installed everything pretty much correct, but it's always good to go back and double check. The main things that I checked for is underneath of the fuel injector covers. I checked under both of these guys to make sure that there was no fuel leaking from any of our injectors. We're solid on all four of them. Made sure that there was no coolant leaks, because I could smell a little bit of coolant, but I think that's just residual coolant that might have been spilt. Oil is also solid, just checked that after putting that last little bit of oil in there. All couplers, hose clamps, everything is plugged in tight, good to go. It's not going anywhere, nothing's coming off, everything is solid. For a second, it moved and it like freaked me out for a minute. So all couplers, everything is pretty much good to go on this, ready to go for the dyno. So I'm feeling pretty confident with the BRZ that everything's gonna go swimmingly on the pre-dyno inspection before we get it strapped up to get everything going. No major issues with it aside from the just stock tune not wanting to run very well, but that is totally understandable, totally obvious as to why. We just strapped bigger injectors and a turbo to the car, so obviously it's not gonna wanna run. It does sketch me out a little bit to be driving the car to the tuner, but like I said, I can't afford to go buy or rent a truck and trailer. None of my friends really have one, so I know it could potentially be more expensive to have to replace the engine than buying a truck and trailer, but down the line we will get a truck and trailer so that way we can just trailer all of our cars to the dyno whenever they need to go there. Plus it would be nice to have like a utility truck to be able to do stuff, but I have full confidence that this car is going to make it. Full confidence. If you speak it and you breathe it into existence, it becomes reality. That's not always true, but that's what I like to think. But I'm pretty confident, like I said, that it's just gonna make it. So that's really all I got for you guys on this one. Pretty short video today. Really just making sure the BRZ was pretty much good to go for the dyno tomorrow. STI videos start up again next week. We're gonna start tearing apart the interior. The dash is gonna come out. We're gonna like completely strip the engine bay. Fuel system's gonna come out. Well, the stock, like somewhat fuel system that's left in the car is going to come out. We're gonna start putting in all that new radium goodness. We're gonna repaint the engine bay, a whole bunch of good stuff coming, but all I got for you guys on this one. So if you like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead, hit that like button and turn it blue like the backside of the hood on the Subaru. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit your boy up one of these corners, no idea which one, because you don't want to miss this stuff. We go to the dyno tomorrow. We're tuning the birds. With that, that's all I got for you guys in this one. So with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, homies.